just meow, 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 meow. Like, I think it'd be really funny.
Meow. I can't.
Meowth, that's right.
I can't do Danny DeVito's voice.
No. You know what I thought? I realized Danny DeVito, like, because he was on Taxi.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing reruns of Taxi as a kid.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this show is from the ancient times. I guess it was from the 70s.
Yeah, it looked old, so I assumed it was old.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And then I realized that Danny DeVito must have actually been quite young when he made Taxi.
Right,
because he still looks the same.
Yeah, he's still making stuff. That's kind of the curse I think you want, though, that if you become an actor and you have, like, a look, that everyone's like, okay, I need an actor with that look. And it's like, great, I'm going to be that for the next 60 years.
I'm Danny DeVito. This is exact. But how sad is it to look like Danny DeVito when you're in your 20s?
I mean, yeah, because, well, I mean, he was balding already. And
He looked like a middle-aged man, right? He looked like he was in his mid-40s when he was in Taxi.
I mean, unless he's 80 now, and we just don't know it.
Maybe. He was 33 when he started on Taxi.
Ah, okay. Well, I mean, Steve Martin, like, went white when he was 18 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was kind of a thing, is that he'd get on stage in his 20s and he'd be just shock white hair, and people didn't know what to make of this guy with all this amazing energy, but looked like he should be like an older man, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I wonder, because I know that Cam and Missy are, like, way prematurely graying.
Yeah.
But it's because they both have naturally dark hair.
Yeah, they went gray awfully fast. I'm just starting to get my gray streaks, which I was like, I wanted these when I was like 18 years old, because I just liked the way that silver temples looked on people.
I'm pretty sure that, like, Cam and Missy both started going gray, like, when they're, like, in their, like, early 20s at the latest.
It looks choice, though. Like, I mean,
I know, they both got the cool salt and pepper thing going.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good.
True black hair goes gray very early in my experience, and yes, Cam and Missy both have true black hair.
What we do now, then, Paul?
Alrighty, so
are Cam and Missy related at all? No, but I believe. Well, I know Cam is First Nations, and I believe Missy might have some First Nations heritage, which contributes to actually having legitimate black hair, not just very dark brown like mine.
That was great. So I stop recording now. Kathleen, you were saying that you had to head out.
I do. I have to work on my campaign.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry, Dice Friends.
There's only
tonight.
a few hours left.
Yeah, I've only got to spec out a few monsters.
2.5 hours.
Just make them all real big.
Good luck.
Then it'll be a very short campaign.
Yeah. You
TPK. TPK.
One big monster, not a bunch of minions.
No, I've got most of the encounters. This is just the last one.
Okay.
That I'm still working on. I just need to spell list.
Spoilers, there will be a last monster.
There will be a finale to my 3-episode campaign. My goodness.
All right.
I better get on the chat
all right,
myself.
Hold on. I'm just going to wait for Paul to mute me.
Yep.
I'm muted? Okay.
I'm going to get out of Animal Crossing and get into the Twitch chat because it...
Kevin, you can just let Heather know that the recording's done.
Oh, and that she'll need to edit.
Yes.
That's also important information. Here, Mr. Chair can sit off screen with the furniture. Oops. All right, text only. Chat only. Oh, that's so nice. I open it up and immediately I see Beej, we welcome you, so that's good.
Hey, everybody.
We're going to do that.
Can you hear me?
I'm going to get a little more comfortable with my knees.
I hope you can hear me. I should also probably look at what they're saying.
Goodbye, empty chair. It's beach time. Paul doesn't need a chair. That's kind of not... You don't need a chair, apparently.
I need a chair.
You can just hold that squat.
It's just... yeah.
Hey, Paul. Hey, Paul. Hey, Paul. Paul, we welcome you, too. We can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Bringing the beard back. It's funny because you have now grown and ungrown that beard so much that every time I see you, I don't see the beard anymore. Like, I just don't notice it.
I don't see beards.
I don't see beards?
I don't know about you, but it's just the kind of person I am.
Yeah. But it's weird, right? It's like James's beard, I was like, oh crap, and then he like trimmed it back and whatnot, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I noticed that, but now I actually am not picking up on the beard as much anymore from anybody. So, though it's still I think it's gonna end up just being Cameron and I will be the only two that have like clean male faces around here. Mm-hmm. But I get tired of it, and then I get tired of not having it, and then I don't know how you can get tired of not having a clean face. Like
Because you have to shave all the time.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair.
And then, because
It's not that you miss the beard. It's just that you're like.
I have to shave like every day in order to actually like keep it back.
Whereas, yeah, I have to shave every other day to have what you can barely not even see on my face. So, Beach can't grow a beard, so don't bother asking. Beach didn't. When I was 18 years old, and thus at probably my most full of testosterone, which they say.
I don't know, like James.
promotes.
James was always said that he couldn't grow a beard, and
then he did.
He's got a very respectable beard going on
does.
now. He's got quite dark hair, so it comes in very thick.
I have two problems. Is that when I was 18, after 6 weeks, my beard didn't get much bushier than just like a little bit of fuzz on my face. What you are like after you don't shower for a day or don't shave for a day or two, right? But also,
I get real fuzzy if I don't shower for a while.
I bet. That's a different kind of fuzz, though. But also, I noticed that after when I grow it for about that long of time, is that the moisture from inside my skin starts to make its way to the outside of my skin, and I'm constantly dealing with like wetness around my lips, and then it chaps the skin, and then it looks like I have fruit punch face. And it's awful. So that's why I have to shave all the time. And even when I do shave, I sometimes end up with that anyway because I irritate my skin. It's tough being me.
It's not easy being green.
No.
Also beige.
Also beige. Yeah.
Those two things are unrelated, but sometimes beige is green.
I guess we need to talk about the everything that we did this week.
Yeah. So first story we talked about was the Destiny this special. It was this
scavenger
hunt thing, I guess. And I love that they went through this whole thing, and then it revealed coordinates for like GPS coordinates for a GPS cache. And there was the spear, and there was also a bunch of gold coins with a polite little note that said like, "Hey, please just take one gold coin."
Yeah.
Which I just like the idea of. It's like literally gold coins, like literally pirate treasure.
Yeah. It's like,
with a little.
Just take one.
It's like, just be nice and only take one. I don't know whether that actually happened, but apparently the spear, along with the spear, there was a note that said that this is one of 3 spears that exist. The other 2, like Bungie has one, and another. The publisher or something like it's like Bungie has one, the publisher has one, and this is the third one. So it's like super exclusive.
That's really cool. I thought you were going to be like the third one has been plunged into the dark heart of something in the abyss or whatever, and please don't ever remove it if you find it. It's like it's doing a job. You get you get the backup. So congratulations, I love Dookie or whatever the hell the guy's name was.
I love the idea that like there's some random like the sword in the stone or whatever is a thing. Just and it gets pulled out, and whatever horrible monster gets awoken because somebody's like, oh hey, cool, there's a cool thing here.
Yeah, I found this thing. I guess it's mine.
I guess it's mine now.
That's really cool. They did that though. I like those kind of things. Yeah,
the fact that it actually like led to something in the real world is always fun. So the Fork Parker's Crunch Out. Like Fork Parker has to be a joke name, right?
Yes. It has to be. Fork Parker has shown up in other things that Devolver's been involved with. Apparently, Serious Sam, and in like the Talos Principle or whatever. I think that the character also shows up. There's a Fork Parker skin, and there's also a gold Fork Parker skin that shows up in Serious Sam for some reason. But yeah, the fact that because to me I was like, when I read this, I'm like, oh, this is really cool, and I thought about it a little more. I'm like, everyone's making retro reprints, retro repros, right? Like that's kind of the thing. It's like you can get a lot of like Super Nintendo games now.
There's that company that does
Limited Run is like doing that, but there's also other. They don't do the new stuff, I think, but there's all these companies that are making physical releases of like digital or reproduction products. So you can get like Sailor Moon Another Story, the translated patch version on a Super Nintendo cartridge, so you can play it at home, kind of deal. I love that. And when I read it, I was all like, this is really cool because they're making a Super Nintendo game this year. But then I think about that a little more. I'm like, when I was at PAX, there are people who are making Nintendo games this year, and people are making Atari games this year, and I started to not be as interested, and I was like, oh. But then I saw, oh wait, 100% of the profits, so over and above what it took them to make the game, that all goes to take this. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
That's super cool, yeah.
And I know people have competing opinions on whether they like take this or not, but I'm like, you can't fault a company for saying we're going to give all of our profits to charity.
I like the idea of it's like they're making a game on, an original Super Nintendo cartridge to go into Super Nintendo, and the reaction that you have is, man, it's like, why such a modern console that they're working on?
Yeah.
It's like,
why not go back even further?
It's like making a game for Super Nintendo is hardly even retro anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the real retro games have to be made with, I don't know, sticks and stones.
Yeah.
Just a stick and a hoop.
Yeah, that's what we need to get back to.
That's the super retro.
Mm-hmm. The Hooper Nintendo. Yes! Anyway.
So yeah, the Fusion University, that's, I mean, not much. I'm gonna say
on content.
I'm gonna say like 75% of the reason why the team is called Fusion University in the first place is so they can put FU on their jerseys.
And I imagine after this, I wonder if they're like, do we revisit the name so we can give it like, because why call it this now? Why not just call it something else? Because if we can't wear the T-shirt that says the thing on it, then what's the point of having? That's like, I've always wanted Simon Fraser University to release shirts that just have STFU on them. For like, and be like, please let his middle initial be Simon T. Fraser, but no, I don't think that's true. But.
I like the idea because they couldn't wear these jerseys, they instead wore just black shirts, and they won.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But I like the maybe that could be like their thing. They could be like, they come in and they wear like either black jerseys, or maybe they wear like black jerseys on top of their regular jersey, like they wear the FU jerseys, but then they wear black jerseys on top of them.
Right.
But like
nobody knows.
Yeah. I remember there's like some like fairy tale thing I remember talking about. There's like this mystery knight that enters in a like a jousting competition.
Okay, yeah.
And he has a shield that's just black.
Because normally it's a coat of arms.
You normally have your coat of arms and the shield, and it's just black. And so nobody knows where he's from. And so it's finally revealed who he is. And he actually has that coat of arms on his shield, but then it's painted black over, so that way when he entered the contest, he didn't have to lie about, like, he's like, this is my coat of, like, this is
my
real.
Coat of arms,
my coat of arms is on my shield. It's just now painted black.
Right. Oh my God.
Anyway, I like that idea that he could that they could like go in with like FU and then cover it over and then dramatically reveal it.
Yeah, just before they sit down to play, and it's like, what do we do? Do we stop them? Do we interrupt the middle of the match? It's like,
of course, you can't do that more than once.
No, exactly. Also, it's funny because the belt buckle that said Banff on it, I was kind of like, I don't understand why people are such like, what Banff? I'm kind of like, that's the Nightcrawler sound. I was not aware that BAMF stands for that. Also, like, I thought that HNIC was just Hockey Night in Canada. It's Head Negro in Charge.
Really?
I've seen hats that have that, in fact. Yeah. I think LeVar Burton owns one, actually.
That puts Hockey Night in Canada in a whole different context,
right?
Doesn't it? Yeah. And then we got Nintendo's retro futzing about.
So,
speaking of retro stuff.
That was, of course, 3 different stories that I was like, there's nothing here, except when you put them all together, it actually kind of feels like... And the thing is, I agree. Like, my take on it was essentially, no matter what they do, everyone's going to be upset. And your guys' take on it was that Nintendo really needs to coordinate their messaging a lot better, because it is 3 different things coming out of it at the same time, and it's like, they could be using the fact that like Virtual Console's not coming out, but the Switch will have playable games. Like
it's quite it's quite the like roller coaster of just like, it's like, we're not going to do Virtual Console, and you're like, really? There's not going to be any oh geez, that really sucks.
Yeah,
but you're going to be able to do a thing where you can stream games.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's cool, but then I don't get to own them. Oh, well, the NES Classic is coming back out again, so you'll be able to get that. And it's like, all these things are happening at the same time, and one like kind of reveal, like I mean maybe that's what E3 is for, but it's like one kind of reveal being like, so yes, you're not getting this back. However, you get this and you get this. So you have two options if you want to play NES games: buy a Switch and get the subscription, or buy the classic because there'll be lots in stores apparently.
Of course, with the subscription thing, I mean, considering how often Nintendo has asked people to rebuy the same games over and over again, maybe a subscription isn't such a bad idea.
Well, and I thought about this too because I was like, the Virtual Console I always thought was like an amazing idea that fell down based on the cost of the games. Because I'm like, I don't want to pay $5 for an NES game, even like a physical one. I don't even really want to do that unless I really love the game. And I was like, but I wouldn't mind being part of like, I want it to be more like PlayStation Plus, where it's like, we'll just give you that game that you'll get one every month. You'll get a new game every month.
Right, but if you
cool.
but if you drop PlayStation Plus, you get to keep all the games.
Exactly. And with the Switch Online thing, it's like you don't get to do that, but then also there's 20 games you can just immediately play, so they don't have to guess about, this month's free game is Balloon Fight. Everyone's like, yeah, I don't want to play Balloon Fight, you know, like...
Stop trying to make Balloon Fight a thing.
Yeah.
Nintendo, nobody likes it.
No. So and then I was like, well, I can't let this go without talking about the Golden Famicom, because that is such a weird thing that would never happen over here.
Yeah. So, does Nintendo have like a known, I guess, history with Shonen Jump?
I think it's just more that the publishers that were making those games, or I mean, probably developers and probably the people who own Shonen Jump, which I don't know if it's Shueisha or who they are, but they were probably the ones also looking after publishing them, and they probably just went to them and said, hey, we know it's your 50th anniversary. How would you like to do a thing where we just bring back all your games? Or maybe they went to them and said, we'd like to do one of these things. Because they've done this stuff before. Nintendo has done stuff where it's been like, hey...
oh, right, yeah. You do lose your games when you drop PlayStation Plus. But you get to keep... and if you redo it, you get all the games back.
Oh, I see.
Sorry.
The thing they've done before is like live action TV shows have had like special edition Nintendo games released in Japan, where it's been like, oh, it's live action TV show is doing a thing, so we've made a special version of Mario that is just starring these characters in Mario or something like that, right? And it's weird because to us it's like, for over here it'd be like Friends getting a video game where it's just Chandler being Mario or something like that. It doesn't really kind of make sense because it's like, who would care about that? But I mean, you know, if they released an NES Classic over here that was like all the TV show games like Family Dog and like Home Improvement and there's like a few other like sitcoms and shit that got games. So it's like if you put all that on a Super Nintendo, like an SNES Classic or something, no one would buy that because they were trash.
Those are not beloved games.
They're awful. So clearly they got but Dragon Ball is a thing over there, right?
Right.
And so it's like there's 3 or 4 Dragon Ball games on there. There's Dragon Quest is on there as well. I was going to do a whole thing about how it's like, yeah, you can play Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball 3, which I think is the one where the guy has a little like bug sprayer and he gets to shoot down the Dragon Ball with it. And then there's like Dragon Quest, which is not Dragon Ball, but they're both art is by Akira Toriyama, so it's kind of the same. And I'm really smart. And I didn't do that joke because it didn't make any sense.
Anyway. I love the idea of Nintendo. You know, there was such ridiculous demand for the NES Classic.
Yeah.
And you know, Nintendo, as is their wont, did not
say we'll do it again.
And they also didn't make enough of them, right?
Yeah.
And so the demand was huge, and then the Super Nintendo also had huge demand, but they made more of them, and people were a little happier about that. And so now they're going to bring back the NES, and they're going to be, and they're like, don't worry, you know, we've got tons of these. It's going to be great. And I just want everybody to be like,
we're over that.
To just basically like gaslight Nintendo and just be like, yeah, we're not buying that anymore.
Yeah,
we're tired of that now. And so Nintendo just has like 30 million of them.
And that was like an alternate line through the joke, because it was like, if we do that, then it's like, you know, this just ends in Reggie shirtless on YouTube going, what do you want from us?
It's like, come on, man.
Stop fucking with our supply chain. Yeah.
All right, so stories we didn't do. And also, yeah, the Resident Evil, or the Monster Hunter movie.
Yeah.
Which is... seems fine. I mean, I don't have any particular. I don't really know that much about the Monster Hunter series, whether it's something that is good to be adapted or not. I feel like it might be one of those things that the adaptation of it is just like people fighting monsters.
Yeah.
Not necessarily getting into the actual plot of the Monster Hunter games themselves, but
Because there's plot in those games, I'm assuming, built
Oh,
on
yeah,
top
yeah.
of, yeah. Like, I mean, they're not making a Pokemon live-action movie. And there's plot in those games. But, I mean, in Monster Hunter, I guess there must be plot as well, so...
Of course, the fun thing is to imagine the Monster Hunter movie made by Paul Anderson, as opposed to Paul W.S. Anderson.
Paul Thomas Anderson?
Or Paul Thomas Anderson, yeah.
Like Punch Drunk Love and all those other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny
Which must be a constant source of frustration for both of those people.
It's funny, too, because I'm pretty sure there's another guy named Paul Anderson who made Sneakers. And he's not P.T. Anderson, and he's not Paul W.S. Anderson. He's like a third guy. I'm pretty sure it's like another dude out there who does. And Sneakers is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I was like, shit, is this the same? This isn't the same. That Paul Anderson didn't get to marry Mila Jovovich, right? Right.
Or Wes Anderson, for that matter.
Or Wes Anderson.
The Wes Anderson Monster Hunter movie. He'd probably do it like the Fantastic Mr. Fox, like do it like stop motion.
Yeah. Yeah, oh geez, yeah, a little like Isle of Dogs or something like that. Man, that'd be interesting.
Anyway, what else we got going on here? We got actually there's a couple of different. We talked about the video game that Devolver Digital is making. There's a couple of different charity things happening that's kind of neat. RuneScape, the creator of RuneScape, JagX, has been doing a charity drive for a variety of mental health charities, actually. And they just announced that they raised $300,000. They were, which is almost twice as much as what they were expecting to raise.
That's great.
So yeah, yay for people playing RuneScape, that they're being supportive in that way. And then also the RPG Limit Break, which is a RPG speedrunning marathon going on right now. Like AGDQ or any of those that is going towards the National Alliance on Mental Illness. This morning when I was looking at them, they were playing Soul Blazer, which is a game that I played on things on my stream. So yeah, that's it's neat that there's a bunch of stuff that, in particular, take this and National Alliance on Mental Illness and these other ones for the RuneScape ones was specifically going for young people with mental illness and stuff. So it's neat that that's an area that these people are pushing or hoping to support.
Yeah.
We got a trailer. Is it any better than AGDQ? It's a much smaller production. Like it's I think they were at like 15,000 or something last time, which is nothing to sneeze at. But it's not. It's a much sort of smaller production that they're doing. I think this is the first year they've done it.
Oh,
so
okay.
Who knows what it'll turn into? But anyway, we just got a trailer for Rage 2, which the joke with that, which I was thinking as somebody who's played Rage 2 or played Rage, the first game, is that no, we don't really want a sequel to Rage 2. We just want the end of Rage. Rage has it's a fun game. It's sort of just sort of a first-person shooter type thing. It's sort of largely a tech demo in terms of the way ID used to do that, where they would they would be like, check out our awesome new engine. Right. Here's a game that we made with it. Right. But it's mostly look at our awesome cool new engine. But it doesn't have an ending. Like it literally just it just stops being. You're playing it as a small spoiler. You're like the world is going to be destroyed, and you're like and they put a bunch of people, sort of kind of a Fallout style. They put a bunch of people into like suspended animation underground, and then like 100 years later, you get like woken up due to a power, some sort of equipment failure in your particular
in
your pod, and the world is all Mad Max style, and so you're going around, and it turns out that the bunch of people are supposed to have woken up, or that the bad guys made people wake up, or made only like their buddies wake up, basically, and then have taken over the world.
I see.
And so you're like, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to work with the freedom fighters, and we're going to wake everybody up from these things.
Right.
And so you're like, okay, let's go, and then we'll get together, and then we'll fight together and take back the world. And so you go through the process, fight your way through hordes of enemies and stuff.
Get to a point where you can do that.
And you're like, yay, let's do it. Game over. Like literally, the last scene in the game is you get just like one of these arc things like popping out.
Sorry. If I open the SD slot on this thing, is it going to ruin anything?
No.
No.
Good.
Is like one of these like arc things popping out.
Right.
And then it ends. So
And
you don't get to like do the thing to actually like win.
You just get to enjoy the fact that it's like, oh,
It's like
I would have won.
It's like theoretically now we can start winning.
Right.
But you don't actually get to do
Oh
anyway.
my God. That's,
Very, very
wow.
bad ending of game. This came out like 10 years ago now,
Okay,
probably.
fair enough. And now Rage 2.
And so now it's Rage 2, which appears to be like a completely different, it's sort of like, they've been, because ID got bought by Obsidian, no, Bethesda.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Bethesda's name was on this.
And they've been kind of bringing back ID properties, but they can be kind of like rebooting them, like Prey and Doom and stuff. So
Right.
presumably this is mostly just going to be a reboot.
Well, I mean, they call it Rage 2 rather than calling it just Rage and making like a brand new version of it. So maybe they're like, we want it to be a sequel because we want to add something onto the end. But it also, gameplay-wise, I was like, I see a lot of in-engine stuff. I have no idea what gameplay is going to be like for this. Is it going to be a first-person shooter? It looks like a lot of guys beating each other up with like melee weapons. And I'm like, okay.
Well, I mean, also this trailer that they showed was largely live action. Too,
Yeah.
So it was not a trailer. It was like a teaser for the trailer that they're going to be releasing tomorrow, I think. Actually.
All right, E3's coming up eventually.
Yeah.
In the near future, in like 3 weeks after I get back from driving. Hey, what else happened?
What else we got here? Destiny 2, Warmind, the new expansion for Destiny 2. They have a thing where you can play 9. There's like 9-player raids.
Oh, okay.
Which is cool, except the way matchmaking works in Destiny is it's only set up for 3-player teams.
Yeah, the fire team. Yeah.
The fire teams, and so you can't actually like get 9 people together and go play this thing together.
Oh no.
How they've determined, like the best way that people have determined to do it,
right,
is 3 people independently play, go in to do one of these raids.
Oh, it's
not as a fire team.
Or as Foxmore saying, a public event activity, because it's not technically a raid.
Okay.
Okay.
3 people go in to do this public event, and they keep trying it over and over again until they all get into the same instance.
Ah.
And then those 3 people each form a fire team with 2 other people who are their friends. And so then that's how you get a group of 9 people together who are actually all people who you know.
That's
Otherwise, it's like you can have a team of 3, and then there's just another random team of 3, and another random team of 3 that get put together.
Right.
But it seems weird that they would make a new kind of event and then not actually have a way to have people join up to
that
play
really
it.
does feel like it's a coding thing where they were like, or either they're like, we want to have more like expanded community interaction, so we want you to play with randos, or that's the side of that, right? Like that's the biz dev thing is expanded community interaction. The other side is you play with randos, and I mean the idea that they came that idea of go in as 3, then split and form three threes, and I'm like, it's smart. And it's probably something they must not have been able to implement in time themselves. So I'll give them benefit of the doubt on
It's
that.
like, remember when we were doing the Lonely Ray LAN, and they were trying to play PUBG together?
Yeah.
And the other way they could actually do it was just to all try to push the button at the same time?
Yeah, like 5 of us got into the same instance. It's like, oh, it worked, hooray, we're all in the same thing. This will be fun. I'll get shot immediately, which is what happened. Or no, wait, I got to drive around a car for a while, and then killed myself when I ran into a electrical tower. Anyway,
Good times.
good times.
The
Blay Blue thing.
Blah blue. Blay
Yeah.
blue. Blah,
I think it's Blay Blue.
Blay blue. Blay
Yeah,
blue.
because you're not supposed to pronounce the Z, I think.
Well, why is it there?
I
then?
did a story on this and I thought it was Blaze Blue, and then I looked into it and it's like, well, everyone says Blay Blue as the short way of saying it, because then there's a 3DS game that was actually called Blaze Blue with like the full, but it was also part of the Blay Blue. Anyway, that's complicated. Yeah, that was a cool story. The Blay Blue thing is a really neat thing. There's no training mode in Blay Blue Cross Tag Battle.
Yeah.
So instead, you beat up on someone who can heal herself.
Yeah. It's just this thing where you may, I don't know, if you're a fan of Blay Blue, you may have noticed that all of the videos demonstrating special abilities and stuff, they're all beating up on the same person.
Yeah, that's Yukiko from Persona 4, and her thing in Persona 4 is that she's a healer. And we talked to Kathleen because like she's a big Persona fan, and like, you might want to do this story. It's like, well, but it's a, yeah, they play, because there's no training mode, it means that if you try to do longer combos, you end up killing your opponent, and then you have to wait to restart the match. So instead, it's like you play versus her, you get her to a point where she's really low, and then you're like, okay, I do this. There's a move in the game that everyone has, this like invulnerable attack they can do, except her invulnerable attack is literally just to heal herself. And when she does it, she can heal herself as long as she's holding the buttons down. So you just play two-player mode, take the second controller, heal her, wait until she's full again, put that down, and then beat the crap out of her again.
Yeah, and so there's been all sorts of like memes and stuff about sort of thank you for your service.
Yeah, please don't bully Yukiko. Like, it's so great. And which, when I see stuff like that,
Yeah, this is still, the game is still in beta, so who knows whether they'll actually have a training thing in the real game.
what I love about it and what I think is going to happen is that, because the memeing is going on obviously, and there's fan art and whatever else, I have a feeling that's going to get picked up on by the devs, and that's going to be turned into a thing whenever the full game comes out, or like through
that'd be
a later
cool.
patch. There'll be like this whole thing of like you get to beat up on a training dummy or on Yukiko or on like stuff like that,
Or just like Yukiko revenge mode where she's just
yeah, right. Like there's going to be things I think that the devs are going to think, oh, I should do this, and yeah, looking forward to seeing how that works out.
We also got oh yeah, so EVE Online is a game that we've talked about many times here on Checkpoint.
Yeah.
And part of the whole idea with EVE is that it's this sort of giant internet, community, international and also galactic community in the game, where the players have a real sort of agency. In the sense that not only can they mess around with, they can create experiences in the game, they can create corporations and there's big wars and all this kind of stuff, but also in terms of the actual development of the game, for the past number of years, CCP has been doing this, what's called the Council, I think. Let me just get the actual name.
It's an out-of-game thing, though, right?
Yeah. So the idea is that they have a representative. They have a representative of the player community. They have the Council of Stellar Management, which is basically the idea being that they're invited to Iceland a couple times a year,
right.
And they have basically like a summit where they bring all these people in who are, it's like 10 people who are sort of elected by the community to represent, and they bring their whatever the community's concerns are to CCP. So they started this a while ago, where because the player base got really mad at something that they did, and so they had this idea that we'll do this, and so
like as a method of coordinating outreach, it's a great idea, especially for something as complicated as EVE.
Yeah, and EVE has they have like the enfranchisement is based on you one player, one vote, one subscription, one vote.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So anyway, one of the cool things about this is there's a guy who is his name is Brian Schoeneman, and who is a actual politician. He is currently working as a lobbyist in the state of Virginia. And he is going on to this. He is applying to be like going to be on this board.
He's running for election.
And he's doing it like full on. Like he like he's got like a campaign website and platforms and he's going around and stuff. I love that, like, this article on Kotaku about him.
Yeah.
He's in the comments. Like the guy himself is in the comments. When people are like, people are like, oh, who is this guy? His corporation has really like crappy like kill ratio or whatever.
Okay.
And he came in the comments like, lol, you don't play this game. Clearly you don't. Like, here's all the stats and stuff. So like the idea that he's actually like approaching this as he would an actual campaign in the real world, I love.
And just to be clear again, is he a real life elected official in some sort of like municipal body, state body?
I don't know. I believe he is not currently in any official capacity.
Okay.
He has in the past, I believe. He is currently a lobbyist.
Okay.
He actually, because somebody, in fact, somebody called him out on this.
Really?
Like in the article. So in the article, in the comments, somebody's like, he's not a politician. Politicians have to run for office or preparing to do so, which he has not done. He's a lobbyist, people who fund and extract concessions from politicians.
Right.
The guy himself responded in the comments under the article saying, I've run for office twice, was special assistant and senior speechwriter to a U.S. cabinet secretary, served as head of elections for the largest jurisdiction in Virginia. Also, I currently serve on the Economic Advisory Commission in the same county. I have lobbied and have been lobbied.
Huh. I mean, well, yeah, that's when you're a politician, you do that for a while, and then when you're done being a politician, you end up becoming a lobbyist. Or if you don't know anything, a pundit. But yeah.
So
that's
anyway,
crazy.
It's kind of fun that more and more we always talk about how Eve sort of is sort of becoming has so much real world stuff that they do that I just find highly amusing. There's various people trying to speedrun in Mario Odyssey.
That was funny.
That resulted in unfortunately it did not work out.
Like it's definitely it's funny in the fact that I didn't spend months doing it, but the story is something they were calling Meat Trip, and it was about being able to use what they thought would be a shortcut through the Luncheon Kingdom. But part of to see the story as much as I can, they're like, if we do this impossible jump off of a sky island in Mario Odyssey where you come out of a painting, that's the thing that happens. If we can do this impossible jump and we can get into the Luncheon Kingdom proper, which they were able to do, and then they're like, now if we can just get to the multi-moon, because those are things you collect in Mario Odyssey, at the top of the Luncheon Kingdom, then that will hopefully summon the Odyssey, and that jump allows them to shave like so much time off the game, right? So they're like, but the Odyssey's not there, and you can't go anywhere in the game unless you have the Odyssey.
Yeah, because the problem is that they've skipped where the Odyssey, like they've made it, they've skipped forward, but they made it. They've skipped past where the Odyssey is, so they have to bring it.
Exactly. It's like we need to bring it into where we are, and they're like, well, if we can trigger the event that causes causes you to go back to the Odyssey, then the Odyssey will show up. Doesn't. And they spent months doing this. They're involved like making Goomba stacks to clip Mario up through like part of the mountain and like all this crazy stuff. It's a great little story. And when they got to the end, the person who did it got the multi-moon and was like, yes! And the Odyssey doesn't show up and it doesn't trigger the next event, and they're like, we can't leave. And they spent months on it, which I thought was funny because it's like, it's one of these things where it was like, it's tragic, but it's also like, oh my god, you spent all this time and you thought you get to the thing and you didn't. It was kind of like, oh god,
Such is the life of the speedrunner.
Yeah.
You think you found a...
But it's also funny that it's like, there's a whole story on a failed strategy. Like, they actually focused on the story of the failed strategy, and I'm like, it's kind of funny that it's like, I want to talk about your failure. I want to interview about the way you didn't actually do this. All right.
All right, and finally, this is great. So there's a game called Rocket Punch! Exclamation point.
Yeah.
That's coming out for the PlayStation 4. And could quite possibly be the final game for the PlayStation 4 that makes use of the PlayStation Eye, because the PlayStation Eye as with the Nintendo or the Microsoft Kinect hasn't taken off as a thing. But how it uses so the idea behind the game is you use the controller. And it uses the motion controls in the controller. And the game, it's like a shooter type game. And it's designed to make you, the player, look like a person in an ad for video games who are always like, whoa, yeah. And why it uses the PlayStation Eye is it does that so it can then take a picture of you looking stupid.
Yeah. Because it's like it's like you're supposed to throw punches, like your disembodied fist in the game, and you're punching satellites into the sun because that's how you're going to combat global warming is by pushing the sun further. I don't know really, it's a thing. But yeah, the whole idea is like it'll make you look stupid because it'll make you look like you're doing a thing that's like
So anyway, what I like about this especially is like way back in the day. I don't know if we even actually ever did it as a thing.
Right.
But I had this idea for like a sketch or maybe for like a checkpoint bit or something. For when the Wii first came out, that the idea that the Wii was a plot by Nintendo to just get video or pictures of North American people looking stupid by doing like Wii things, and that the Wii was just taking pictures of us all the time.
So you beat this guy to the punch, essentially.
Yeah.
To the idea of it anyway, but also he's apparently been making games. He makes idiot games.
Yeah.
He likes to do that.
Yeah. But I always like that idea that like it's all these motion control games have always just been a plot to make us look dumb.
I mean, the rejected Wii Play games thing kind of has that same.
Yeah. Anyway, that is those were all of the stories I think that were.
That's everything that happened in video games this week.
Yeah, nothing else interesting or funny happened that we noticed. But anyway, let me pull up the our subscribers and we can welcome them to the thingamadoodle like we do.
It's hot in a jacket.
It is, it is rather warm in this room. So thank you everybody for joining us, and reminder that in just under 2 hours, it's going to be Dice Friends for episode 2 of Camp Nettleby.
Or was it 3? Is it
no, today is 2. Yeah,
today is 2. Okay, my apologies.
For Camp Nettleby, and so that'll be a lot of fun. Kathleen's
working on that right now.
She's working on it right now. Her sweet campaign. So make sure you stick around for that. And tomorrow, I believe, for New Day, Kathleen and Heather are going to be looking at the new Shin Megami Tensei.
Oh, Strange Journey Redux.
Strange Journey, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So that should be fun too. And of course, all sorts of other stuff happening in the coming days and weeks. Make sure you, things will get a little bit complicated starting next week.
Things have already become complicated for me.
Well, yes.
But yeah.
But for you at home, things are starting, or we're trying to keep the schedule as normal as possible, but obviously a lot of people are going to be going away for Rogue Quest. So keep that in mind. We're going to be...
For the next 14 days starting on Tuesday.
Yeah, things will be a little bit weird. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, thank you very much for supporting us in all the stuff we do. In particular, thanks to CyberJoack for 5 months. And now, the news.
And Nell Jandik for 24 months. Woo! Luris Live. I guess it's time to go to bed now.
Bye.
Congrats on your 2 years.
Pix 48 for 6 months. Oh, how the time flies.
And MTV CDM for the 43rd month. 42 is the answer. 43 is a better answer.
Coggy9 for 2 months.
Welcome to the channel, and welcome to Worm424, who's a new subscriber. I'm glad to have you here, Worm.
Meow Zuxi
Zushi.
16 months. That's probably better.
Faye Lee for 45 months. Hello, cool news people, and hello, me watching the VOD in probably a week. Hello, Faye Lee.
Jadenum for 9 months. The miracle of Liff. Sub baby is finally here.
Oh, Liff.
Congratulations.
Pygmy Worm for 19 months. I just missed posting my sub the last 2 streams I was here for, so I'm going to make sure I get it in now. And you did. Thank you, Pygmy Worm.
Celia One Now for 27 months. Thank you so much for coming back.
And welcome back to T. Stodden for 53 months. Oh, that keeps ticking up.
The Bentuzzi for 51 months. What's up, news reading people in the place to be? What's up is a resub. The resub is from me.
And Cleek Crew with the sub baby with 9 months. I just noticed that Beach was present every time I subbed. Oh yeah, somebody sub baby be the wee. Any more after that? Oh, there is.
Cheese Weasel for 40 months. 40 months. I'm officially over the hill.
I'm not far behind. Screaming Peasant is a new subscriber. Welcome to the channel, Peasant. Greetings, Proles.
And thank you for the 1,270 bits from Foxmar 320, Rock Pusher, and Inkslayer.
The bits.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I did want to actually say on the subject of your amazing support for RoadQuest, we are closing the donations for RoadQuest at the end of this
week.
At the end of this week,
Like
so
on Friday.
On Friday.
On Friday. Okay.
So because we have to. Because part of the whole idea behind it is that we're going to be sending out stuff to all the people, sending out sort of progress reports to everybody, and having the people read their names as they go and stuff. So we want to make sure that we get all the names in and get that all collated before we go. So
please be kind when we are doing this, because this is an ambitious thing, and it's going to be a lot of driving and a lot of work. And a lot of footage. So we will do our best for you that we can, but if we miss a day on getting you guys a video, harden the fuck up.
All right.
I'm under a bit of stress right now. Go ahead.
So just a reminder to please get that in if you can. We appreciate all the support that you've been able to give us. It's been totally overwhelming so far. But in the meantime, we've got Dice Friends on in just under 2 hours, and all sorts of other fun stuff. So make sure you check out the events page or the schedule, loadingreadyrun.com/live.
Or lrr.cc/roadquest.
That is to find out the RoadQuest thing, yes.
Yeah.
All right. We will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.